Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the BAMoT Show. My name is Adam Edwards. It's just going to be me today and my good friend Kyle, who's going to remain off camera.
Yes, producer on mic out here.
Producer on mic. So I just wanted to come on and let everybody know that we are kind of getting back together. We've had a long couple of weeks doing the small business boost up type of thing, and it kicked off without a hitch. We love our classes going on. We still have spots open, so if you want to come on in and give us a talk, we'll let you in there. Apart from that,
Yes, and important for everyone to know that you can find the link to sign up for Small Business Boost Up in the description below.
yes, app.blueanchormarketingofTexas.com/SBBU, Small Business Boost Up.
Indeed.
Yep, you can find all information there, sign up, and we'll be in touch with you. Yeah. So I hope everybody had a great Halloween. It was fun. I just kind of relaxed. It was nice to have a weekend to just kind of breathe and take some time to myself and my family and kind of hang out. So can't hear. Uh-oh. Is it
Everything looks good. Where's
microphone check? Hello. Cindy, can you hear me?
Let's see.
Got
All
it.
right.
This is Major Tom, the ground control.
All right, we're improvising here. All right. So outside of Small Business Boost Up, was there anything else that you wanted to tell everyone about?
I think there was, but I forgot.
It's okay. It's early in the morning.
It is early in the morning. Actually, I mean, it's early for, yeah. Anyway, no, I just hope everybody's doing really good. Like I said, we're kind of regrouping back together and trying to get everything back into swing of things. We are doing just Tuesdays now, and we'll do webinars on every Friday. We can hear. Okay. Very good. Thank y'all for coming in and letting me know. Yeah, so we can go over a couple of things if you want to, Kyle. We can kind of talk about finding your customer is something that is essential.
Yes. So if you didn't have anything else, I wanted to go over from LinkedIn.com something that is relevant to small business owners is the top 10 marketing questions every business owner should know. So I thought if you wanted today, we could use this as kind of an educational opportunity. I could throw a couple of questions your way, and then for anybody watching today, they can start to think about this if they have a small business. So did you want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and run it. It'll be good.
All right. So first, if you are starting a small business, the number one question out of 10 on LinkedIn is who is your best target customer? So in terms of Blue Anchor marketing for y'all, who is your target customer?
Small businesses, entrepreneurs. So that's a good question to ask. Really understanding who your ideal client is. And that's something that I'm actually getting kind of trying to work on a worksheet to help identify or help people identify who their ideal client is. So for ours, it would be entrepreneurs, small businesses. Either you're just starting out or you've been running for a couple of years and know that you need some help with the marketing or branding side of things, or just ideal clients of they're at a point of growth and need to get their word out there and find more customers. So through paid ads and websites, SEO, and that kind of thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So then this is a bit of trivia for you. So what do you think are the two things you would say or ask? The question is, what do they, being your customers, care about? Mm-hmm. So there are two ways to find out, two particular ways. Just what do you think they might be?
Can you repeat the question?
There's no wrong answer. So there are two ways to find out what your customer cares about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can do a market analysis, or you can see who's giving you a call and who you're vibing with. That's my answer. Oh, that's probably not the
so
right
yeah,
answer.
You gave a variation of what they have here. It's to ask and observe. So every business, when you're trying to find your target audience or your customers, you want to ask and observe what do people need. All right, number 3 on the list. Where can you most effectively reach them, your customer?
Facebook.
You think so?
No, this is what I'm pushing really hard right now. No, I think it is something that's very effective at this point is kind of going through social media. And I'm going to keep harping on that string because there's a lot going on with tech companies right now. And things are kind of finding a little tailspin. And SEO, I made a whole webinar that SEO is dead. It's not actually dead. SEO can be very helpful and useful, actually is, until you just got to make sure you can invest in it long term. It's going to take some time to actually see some movement from it. And like I said on the webinar, it's frustrating to pay somebody to do your SEO, and it's 6 months, and you've been paying for it monthly and haven't seen any movement. But that's just like the nature of the beast. So for like kicking up immediately, you can do paid ads, which are great to kind of get your word out there as long as you know your target audience, who you need to target it to. And social media is a great way to prospect leads and kind of make the connections with potential clients.
And what paid ads would you recommend? Google, Facebook, or one or the other, or both?
Depends on the business. I tend to lean more toward Google because it's a paid per click type of model.
Okay.
And Facebook is a pay per view. So if you have the revenue, if you have the budget, I recommend both. Absolutely. But if you're really tight and you're wanting to kind of control what you're spending on, it's easier to control that through Google. And it kind of is like a quick top of the page card without like, your SEO, you're kind of ranking up, having that paid search result ad, like the sponsored content at the very top. It shows you as a top result as long as somebody doesn't have an ad blocker or something on like that. So,
all right, makes sense. So there are 3 things here that LinkedIn has on this list of 10 questions. So when I asked you where can you most effectively reach your customer, their response is for everybody listening is, where does your customer gather? What influencers do they already have or already have their attention?
yeah.
And then third is, how can you partner with them? So those are just 3 things to think about if you are just starting and trying to find your audience. So
influencer marketing is huge.
everybody wants to be an influencer.
Everybody wants to be an influencer, and all the marketing companies want to work with influencers. I can ramble for a little bit on that. That's a lot to
Let's
study.
keep it concise for everybody at home today. But no, you are correct. Everybody's an influencer, and it's very important. But yeah, let's move on to number 4. So, and this is for you. What is your attention grabbing story?
My attention grabbing story.
You just met me.
Yeah.
We're talking about Blue Anchor. Give me your attention grabbing story for your business.
Oh, okay. Golly, it's hard to put that on the spot. It's actually easier if we're just like doing something and I can kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
So my way of doing it, and actually the way we're teaching is, I don't talk about me. I talk about you, and I want to know what you do and how things are going for you, and kind of try to get into like what your pain points are.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, I'm able to stick some of my own value into some solutions to your problem. So
at least you're focused on the customer, not yourself. That's
right.
Very good.
That's where it kind of comes in. It's like, it's hard to talk about myself in some situations, because if I start talking about myself, I'll go on for days. Back in hot
You and me both, yeah.
Right.
All right, so that's actually a great answer, because here the response on this particular question is that story. Customers and your audience responds well, or customers, I should say, respond best to stories, and that's the most powerful tool for catching and keeping attention. So if you have a business and you have a great story, that's usually going to get through to somebody more so than you just going straight to sales.
Right. Relationship based marketing.
Yes, exactly.
We got a couple of
you got to care, and it's got to be genuine.
What are the comments over there? I'm curious.
Make sure we have sound. All right.
Oh, hi, Lauren. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to the show.
Glad to see people are watching. All right. So we're going to move on to number 5. Why should they buy from you instead? Why should your customers buy from you, or, take y'all services outside of somebody else's marketing company?
Yeah, I'm actually going to stick with that story segment type of thing, because not everybody's going to see the same value from working with me versus somebody else. With Blue Anchor Marketing, we are local. We stay local. We've had a lot of people come to talk to us and say, why don't you just branch out and like market in California? And it's like, no, I want to be able to go grab a coffee and shake a hand and talk to people face to face and make the connection. Virtual is, we're actually kind of trying to get more to virtual because it saves a lot of time and a lot of money. But ultimately we want to be available and to make that good connection. I don't know, it just feels better,
Yeah.
And apart from that, we're 5 people now, and we put our whole heart into this whole thing. And yeah, it's a little over a year that we've been doing business, so we're not some tenured 20-year marketing agency that can get things done lickety split, but we're here, we're passionate. There's something that, I don't know, I've had years and years of experience branding and graphic design, so I love being back into it. And yeah, it just kind of goes with that conversation of making sure it's the right fit, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great answer. Not a wrong answer. What we want to remind anybody listening is when you're thinking about this, you know, how to say it. I mean, consumers have 1,000 options these days, right? I
Thousands,
mean,
millions.
it's not just like Amazon, which, you've got that, and then you can shop local. I mean, we have so many choices these days, right? So the questions that we have here that I want to remind people to think about is what makes you better? And let's see, what's your strategic advantage? So you have to be thinking about those two things before you get out there a little bit. Is what makes you better, and better doesn't mean like you have to, you know, put another business down to lift yours up. Just what makes you, whatever.
That's a key point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not like what makes me better. I'm going to pound my chest and kind of squat on everybody else. It's you got to be better. I mean, it's
just business.
It's just business.
Yes.
It's not who does it first. It's who does it better. And
a lot of that comes from how you're different from your competition, right?
Right. Yeah. Because we can all niche down, and that's something that we've talked a lot about is talking with other marketing agencies in the area, like in San Antonio and Austin, and just making those connections because there's plenty of people to go around, and there's plenty of clients for marketing, and having each of us niche down to something. So, for instance, we've niched down to entrepreneurs and small business owners that are looking for coaching and consulting. So, people that come to us that want bigger services, now we can have a referral base and we can refer people to trusted agencies. And that way we can focus more on what we really love doing. And yeah, some work actually still working on, but yeah, there's a way they can be better at certain things, and then talk to other people in your industry to say, how can we work together? You know.
All right, good. So you
Hopefully.
clearly thought about that. All right, so number 6, what is your brand? And by this, I mean, obviously, your brand should be customer focused. And this is coming from our LinkedIn questions here. So this is for everyone to think about. What problem do you solve for the customer? And then here, it just talks a little bit about how businesses make the very common mistake of making the brand all about themselves. So earlier when you were talking about, kind of connecting with the customer and not making it about yourself, basically what, we're warned not to do. So the big takeaway here is, a business mistakenly creating a generic variation of, and I quote, "We're great and friendly, so give us your money," end quote. And that just does not work.
It does not work. Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
So you want to talk a bit about Blue Anchor's brand?
Sure. So without going on a ramble, Blue Acres brand was tied to my tattoo that I got from a dream a long time ago from former Marines, the Eagle Globe and Anchor. And the anchor kind of represented life, and the chains around the anchor kind of represented I don't know, like it's an evolving thing, but kind of breaking the chains away from the anchor. The anchor remains and it stays in the earth. And we're kind of thinking about like, what do we want to name a branding agency in Kerrville or in the Hill Country area, because we wanted to be something that was reliable and constant. So it's like, well, we can be the anchor of the Hill Country because our ultimate goal is to grow this community and nurture small businesses. I'll say it a million times. That's our ultimate goal. It doesn't matter like what anything else is going on. That's what we want. And yeah, so throughout the years, or not throughout the months, it's been a battle of trying to find the right price points for people. And I think we finally found it, and I'm loving it. I'm really happy that we're actually able to work with people and come up with a solution that works for them. So as far as like a branding is, like I said, like the anchor of the Hill Country, people can come to us and we will find a solution no matter what. Maybe it's not with us, but we will find something that works with them, and we'll do our best to work around people's lives and budgets and
good. Yeah,
businesses.
I like the anchor thing. Makes a lot of sense. So for anybody listening, that's your branding. Think about your branding and what does it mean. It has to be relevant. So number 7 here, what products and services will you produce and at what price points? So I think before we started, you and I were talking about price points. Yeah. So a little hint here, this greatly depends on answers to questions number 1 and 2. And I'll remind everybody that was Who is your target customer and what do they care about? So those two questions will inform what are your price points.
Yeah.
So for Blue Anchor and Kerrville, that would be small businesses, entrepreneurs. How did y'all decide on a price point?
Trial and error. You kind of look at the best we can come off of from the beginning was industry standard, and kind of knock a little off the top, knowing that we're in a smaller population. The training we were going through, they were always saying like, oh, you need to be in a place of at least 100,000. And these are the way that these tactics are going to work here. And said, okay, well, we're in a place that's 23, 24,000. Maybe we can branch out a little bit to Bernie and the surrounding areas and kind of tack on a couple thousand more. But ultimately, it's kind of a guessing game. Pricing, especially with other agencies, it's hard to get that out of people because they look at you as competition. They don't want you undercutting them. And so it was a lot of, we came in kind of low mid, and we're kind of happy with that. And I personally wanted to kind of ramp up pretty quick because our whole thing was we wanted quality over quantity. And we're looking for a premium customer or a premium client at that point. And so we talked to tons of people, and the more of those prices we gave, the more bridges we saw burning behind us. And we're saying, okay, well, gosh, like, I don't know. And like, it was so extreme. We come in and somebody say, well, I can pay you $25 for my website. And we're like, feasibly, we can't do that. And then somebody else
fill up my gas tank.
Right. And then somebody else like a different area will come in and be like, you're charging way too low. Like, you need to ramp these things up.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I don't understand. Like, we're being told by one person we're charging too low. We're talking about the other person, like they can't afford anything. So that's where it kind of comes in with a business, is to look inward. That's kind of part of the presentation last week that I appreciated, is instead of like when you're struggling as a business, it's better to look inward and really analyze what that pain point is, instead of just like, oh, I just need to hit the phones harder. I just need to make another sale. I just need to beat this wall until it breaks down.
Yeah.
And then you're going to most likely fail at the end of that because you're not fixing the core issue. So yeah, it took us a while. Getting into it, pricing is okay. We want to stay at a certain standard and quality, but how do we provide something to people that is affordable? And that's where the coaching and consulting kind of came in.
Right.
Is, it's affordable, and it's a way that I kind of look at, like, we came in like, here is like where everybody's understanding of marketing is, and then we came in like way up here.
Yeah.
It's like, you just need to pay us here and trust us. And they're like, we don't even understand what you're talking about. No. So we had to come up with a way, well, how do we get people from here to there, or at least meet in the middle? And I was like, okay, well, as a business owner, we had to do our own marketing in-house. And fortunately, we're a marketing agency, so we kind of learned how to do it and had the time to learn to do it. But I was like, man, if we can just get people to do it in-house themselves, and we just teach and guide them, that is something that we can start that growth and meet up in the middle there.
All right, so you're 7 for 7, no wrong answers so far. So this is kind of, we already touched base on it a little bit earlier, but the number 8 question here for your business is, how do you plan to advertise your business? And I know we talked about Google and Facebook ads. Right. The main takeaway here is to always remember strategy first and tactics second. So, I mean, potential methods of advertising are endless, but regardless of which medium you choose, your marketing strategy should be the same. Or I'm sorry. Let's see if I got this right. This is where you get tactical. Pardon me.
Okay.
The potential methods are endless, but regardless of which mediums you choose, your marketing strategy should do the same. So too many small business owners make the mistake of starting here before fully answering the previous 7 questions we talked about.
Exactly. Yes.
I would recommend everybody write something down. Just write it. I think writing down on paper
helps a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
I've even heard like silly things, like if you write with blue pen, apparently your brain will remember something more. Yeah. Ooh. But just writing things down and thinking about these things a lot more.
What happens with a pink pen?
You don't remember any of it. In fact, it's all wrong. So anyway, the main takeaway here is, like I said, is skipping the last 7 questions that we've talked about.
Yeah. Recipe for
disaster. Yeah. So you're going to throw money down the drain and then see mediocre results at best. So, like I said, strategy and then tactics.
Yeah.
So outside of, we've already spoke about Google and Facebook ads. What else have y'all done? Like mailers? And then I'm not very good at this, so you tell me. What are the strategy and tactics y'all have already used?
I'm gonna say it depends very largely on your location. In Kerrville, word of mouth is absolutely essential. Word of mouth and in-person networking goes way further than Google searchability.
Have y'all cold called?
Yes, and it doesn't work for us. It's terrible. Yeah, so we can go in cold calling and cold emailing, and I can get some numbers together and show you that we maybe had a 0.1% success rate of those versus in-person networking mixer events and the successes we get from those. It's astronomical. Cold calling is a beast. Cold emailing, everybody's doing that. As a marketing agency, I'm sure you've gotten it. I'm sure other people, if you're listening to this, that you've probably getting 3 to 4 emails a week saying, "Hey, you're not on the front page of Google. Do you want help with that? Your website doesn't look that good. Can I help you with that?" And yeah, just
here's a thought. Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
Okay, so it's like a numbers game, right? So for every 100 people you cold call, you might get two, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
So have you or John noticed that doing face-to-face and going to events, do you yield more than those two? What would you say? Like,
I see you get a higher conversion rate. So our intern over the summer, I guarantee he called at least 200 people in a month and 0% success. And I was with him on the phone. I was sitting there with him, and he started out and was a little shaky. I mean, he was like brand new into it, but then he started like getting more comfortable with it and actually went out on his own and actually learned more tactics on how to speak with people on the phone, and just never came through. It was either a hard no or no answer, or the main one was, "Oh yeah, that sounds good. Let me get back to you," and they just never get back to you.
Was that y'all's intern Carson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the whole summer long, we would just sit there and be like, "There's got to be a better way." Like, I don't understand. Like, we had some great ideas on like how to kind of skirt that. And our ultimate goal was just to let people get us an audit to their website to show them, "Hey, we know what we're doing, and we can show you some things you can do on your back end." And even that was like, it was a free offer. Even that people didn't want to listen to. They're busy, and the summer was nuts. So yeah, it's hard. If it works for you, good. You got something that works better than for us.
Yeah.
But what we did and found a great success in is just going to every mixer that we could, any kind of in-person thing, any kind of community event. Not only do we love doing that, it makes good connections and it makes lasting connections.
So are you saying that in order to get customers, you have to actually go talk to people?
You actually have to go talk to people. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And the tried and true of cold calling and just picking up the phone and knocking on doors does not work anymore. Nobody wants to talk to you.
All right. So get out there, go to whatever, mixers, dinners, whatever you can. Join your chamber of commerce. Yes.
Yeah. Fundraisers are huge.
Right. Go and talk. So number 9 here, we're almost through here, is what systems will you have in place to market your business within 1 year, 90 days, and 30 days? So breaking it down, did y'all even think about it that way, or was it day by day?
You kind of do your best to plan ahead. We had, a 5-year plan. We had a 1-month plan. We had a 1-week plan. Even the 1-week plan changes. With marketing, we are in a unique position where everything is going to change. And I can guarantee you, a year ago today, if you talked to us and said, "Hey, you're going to be doing this BAMoT Show, you're going to be doing coaching and consulting," so you're out of date, you're daggum mind. Like, I don't know what you mean. Yes. I'm here to build websites. Like, that's what I want to do. That's something that, like, it's very good to have structure and a plan and kind of have an idea of where you're going with your business, but you also have to be adaptable. You have to be adaptable. Things don't always work out. 2020, for example, that made a lot of people have to adapt very quickly. And here we are in 2022 and still adapting. And that's something that, like, the survival of the most adaptable, I think, is the game right now, is trying to figure out what's the best way to maintain your business and your branding, still have that goal, but know that you can kind of stray a little bit. Does that make sense?
It does. And real quick, what that made me think of is for anybody out there who is having to go through the same thing, and I don't know how to say, like, something doesn't, like, one thing in your marketing strategy doesn't work, right?
Mhm.
So you have to do it again, and that isn't where you do it again. So obviously it's very frustrating. So have you ever gotten frustrated?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of
Yeah,
times.
that was almost a rhetorical question.
Right.
But so then what would you tell people that are on, you know, the verge of that point, or have just gotten there, or maybe they haven't gotten there? Tomorrow they're forming the LLC for the first time.
Yeah.
They haven't found that frustration yet. So what's a good bit of advice you could give to them?
Kind of taps back into what I was saying earlier about looking inward. But you have to have balance of that too. You don't always need to be looking inward. Sometimes it's not always your fault. You know, sometimes it is something like you're just in the wrong location for what you're trying to do. For new business owners, I'm gonna say that if you come up against a problem and you're sitting there and you're just bashing against it, you say, "Oh my gosh, like this didn't work. I'm gonna try it again. That didn't work. I'm gonna try a little bit harder this time. It didn't work." Instead of concussing yourself, understand that there's a way around that you can kind of come off to the side and either approach the problem at a different angle or find something else that just doesn't have anything to do with that problem. Maybe the problem is something that you just shouldn't be doing right now. And there's maybe a step before that you skipped, or maybe there's a point after that would be better suited for you to just kind of jump into. The best thing you do is have that feedback, like you were saying, like talk to people and understand. So, like with us, if nobody told us that our pricing was too high, we've just been sitting around like, well, people just don't like us. You know, that was a long time we spent. We were scared that people were just scaring people away. You know, that people was like, for some reason, they would just stop talking to us. They were like, well, what did we do? What did we say? And for a while, we're like, we don't get it. Like, what? I don't understand. So we sit there and kind of talk back and forth. Well, this is how the meeting went, and this is what we talked about. And we left and all shook hands and we're all happy. And then the next day, I haven't, like, it's been a month and we haven't heard. Yeah. And so we could have been just continuing hitting that problem and not adjusting what needed to be adjusted.
All right, good. So that's a good point. So I was going to say here, the highlight here is consistency and measurement. So no one-off tactics, and you have to be honest with yourself. So it's like you were saying, it's not always about looking inward, blaming things on yourself, but you also have to be honest with yourself and your business and whoever your business partners are, right? So that's the main takeaway from here. This is number 9. So the systems you have in place that you can identify, and then the more important thing is what's working and what's not. And if you can't be honest with yourself, then you're just throwing money out the window for the sake of your business.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So you still haven't gotten a single question wrong. I can't believe this. Number 10.
I know marketing.
Who will you or your team be accountable to in order to make these actions get done in time? So for anybody, whether you've got 5 people on your team or 10 or 20, everybody has to have a role. Otherwise, no accountability equals no deadline and very little action.
Yeah. Everybody is accountable to each other.
Yes.
Especially in a small business. That's something, I think it's a loaded question. That's tricky because you want to say everybody is accountable to the next person up, or maybe on the up the rung or whatever. But ultimately, you look at it's the owner is accountable for everybody because the owner needs to be able to communicate what their expectations are, and the manager needs to be able to understand and communicate and understand that next level of how to manage the people, and the people need to be accountable to speak up if something doesn't make sense, or to perform to their expected level, and that goes like both ways. Something that I think of. Oh gosh, I'm gonna ramble again.
No, I'm not gonna let you.
Okay.
No rambling. But no, I've seen you and John grow quite a bit, or Blue Anchor, I should say, grow quite a bit. And did the accountability change over time? In other words, like, obviously in a small business, a lot of people are wearing many hats, but have you and John seen, for what y'all assign yourselves or the other people working with y'all, have y'all seen those bits change over the last year?
Yeah, I would say so.
And a lot?
Not a whole lot, but enough, a few times. Okay. And it's kind of become in our position of trying to figure it out ourselves and how our dynamic works. I'm we are kind of like solar opposites, which makes our dynamic really well because we know how to work together very well.
Mm-hmm.
That also leads open to communication, and I'm horrible with communicating certain things. And that whole thing, it's like you're going to run into some things, and the ultimate part is the ability to work through it
Mm-hmm.
and come out in the end. And I think those are the times that we've kind of shifted the role, basically, of who's accountable for what, and just further identifying that. Because yeah, for the longest time, it was we're accountable for everything, and is one person pulling their part versus the other. Sometimes it gets hard to tell, especially when you're stressed out. So having that open communication, and like our good solution was having team meetings every week to say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm working on. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm working on. This is what we need to get done this week. Cool. All right. I'll be working on this. And it just kind of like keeps an open communication. That's not like I'm tracking what you're doing. It's not like vindictive.
Since we know nobody's perfect,
Mhm.
have y'all had a moment where somebody was not being held accountable? Like there was a task that wasn't assigned to anyone on your team, so it didn't get done, and then you saw the repercussions of that.
Yeah. So there was, and we don't talk about Bruno.
Okay. Don't even know the reference.
You haven't seen Encanto?
No.
Oh, it's a good movie. Anyway, you know who. And yeah, there was a person, and it was a calculated risk. We all chose to trust this person and put our hearts into him, and it ended up backfiring pretty hard. But it is what it is. It was a learning process. It didn't really. It affected us. It affected us in a couple of ways, but they were not devastating. Fortunately, I think it could have easily been devastating. And as all of us being adults, we were able to move on. I hope the best for them still. But things happen like that,
Yeah, because I think what everybody should remember is business is business, and sometimes you can get along with somebody personally, like they are your, brother, sister, mother, father, just that close. But when it comes to business, people tend to just not agree on some things, and it's good that you can identify and say, all right, well, you go your way, I'll go mine.
Right.
We can still be friends, keep it professional.
Right.
And that definitely happens. I've heard that 100 times, especially getting older, where I know a lot more people going into business.
Right.
So you passed the quiz. 10 questions. You got 10 correct answers. There really are no wrong answers, so I'm just giving you.
Let me have it.
All right. So
I need a win.
Just to remind everyone, that was the top 10 marketing questions every business owner should know. Published in 2015 by Jennifer Sarpong on LinkedIn.com. That's where we got those questions.
That was very good.
I thought it would just be nice to 10 questions that everybody should be thinking about, because too often we get so excited about, look at my new business cards or my new website, and I'm so excited to get my business going, and then we forget to think about strategy and tactics.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah.
Hopefully this helped.
It'll help me too. Actually,
I was going to say, was it good for you to think about?
Yeah, it was good for me.
All right, good.
And actually, I'm going to use that because there's a section in Small Business Boost Up that's coming up next month that is going to be identifying your ideal client. And that's going to help out a lot because it'll add some good questions to kind of think about and help out there. So that is part of the Small Business Boost Up, by the way. If you don't know who your client is.
The next one will be the 10th. Thursday, November 10th. All right. And the link for that is in the description below. If you still want to sign up, you can.
Yep.
Was there anything else you'd like to plug?
Probably, but ultimately I want to plug love. Everybody have a great day. Everybody love yourself, love each other as much as you can.
Have a terrific Tuesday.
See
what I did there?
Yes.
All right. Well, are we good?
I think we're good. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. So, are you going to play it out?
A rich man's world.